whether it's Harley Quinn's endless quest for the Joker's approval, Gollum's tragic obsession with the One Ring, or Zoidberg's unwavering optimism despite constant rejection. Some characters find themselves in constant failure and longing for something just out of reach. In the Transformers universe, few embody this more profoundly than Waspinator. Today we'll dive into the tragic tale of a character whose life is defined by setbacks, betrayal, and an internal search for meaning in a chaotic universe. This is the dark side of Transformers, the tragic tale of Waspinator. When Waspinator debuted in Beast Wars, he immediately stood out as the Predacons' comic relief, while others, like the cunning Tarantulas or the ruthless Dinobot, sought power or respect. Waspinator became a punching bag, literally, figuratively. He was blown apart, humiliated, and left scrambling to piece himself together time after time. Despite this, Waspinator remained loyal to the Predacon cause and its maker Megatron, but this loyalty was never reciprocated. Megatron treated him as expendable, pawn in his endless quest for domination, showing his role as the team's fool. He wasn't just unlucky, he was trapped in a cycle of failure that defined his entire existence. Waspinator's character was inherently different from his fellow Predacons, where most displayed cunning, aggression, or ambition. Waspinator was more simple, making his struggles feel more relatable and more human, especially when dealing with forces beyond his control. What sets Waspinator apart from other comedic characters is the emotion felt behind his failures. His mishaps provided humor, but they also hinted at a character struggling with his place in the world. Every defeat chipped away at his already fragile sense of self, and making him feel more isolated from his fellow Predacons. Characters like Pterosaur mocked him mercilessly. Even Scorponok, who was generally loyal to Megatron, treated Waspinator as a nuisance. Yet despite this abuse and ridicule, Waspinator's loyalty never wavered. His blind allegiance to Megatron wasn't born of shared ideals or respect. It was a desperate need to belong, a tragic flaw that kept him tethered to a leader who saw him as the spouse. As the final battle between the Maximals and Predacons reached its climax, Waspinator found himself removed from the chaos, standing apart from the fray. For the first time, he was free from Megatron's control and able to reflect on his role in the conflict. This moment of self-awareness revealed a deeper truth. Waspinator has spent his life as a tool, manipulated and discarded by those around him. While others fought for glory or survival, Waspinator began to question the purpose of it all. Was the endless war worth the pain and suffering that he endured? Was there truly any meaning to his suffering? At the conclusion of Beast Wars, Waspinator appeared to find peace. The conflict was over, and for a moment, it seemed he might escape the cycle of violence and failure. He even humorously declared that he would remain behind and rule the primitive humans as their god. But even this would be short-lived, with Waspinator being kicked out of the tribe as its leader and working his way back to Cybertron. When Waspinator appeared in Beast Machines, he was no longer the comic relief that he provided in Beast Wars. Instead, he had been transformed, both physically and emotionally, into something far darker and more tragic. The Vehicons, under Megatron's control, had rebuilt him into a grotesque, distorted form, stripping him of his individuality and turning him into a weapon of war known as Thrust. The once comedic Waspinator was no longer a misguided soldier. With this transformation, he became a broken creature, his entire identity shattered. In Beast Machines, Waspinator's fate was perhaps even crueler than before. Despite his transformation, he remained a pawn, manipulated first by Megatron and later by the Vehicons. Stripped of his autonomy, he was forced to fight in a conflict that he didn't truly understand, his body and mind enslaved to the whims of others. No longer the fool or comic relief, Waspinator became a victim to the forces that he once served. His struggle for identity and meaning was replaced by a grim acceptance of his fate. While Beast Wars and Beast Machines defined much of Waspinator's tragic story, his legacy didn't end there. In Transformers Animated, the story of Waspinator was reimagined. This continuity offered a more grounded look at Waspinator's fall from grace, beginning not as a Predacon providing comic relief, but as an Autobot cadet named Wasp. At the Autobot Academy, eager to prove himself as a capable soldier and loyal ally. However, his life took a dark turn when he was falsely accused of being a Decepticon spy. The real traitor was Longarm, later revealed to be the Decepticon Shockwave in disguise, who manipulated the situation to shift suspicion onto Wasp. The betrayal by his comrades, combined with the harsh punishment that followed, shattered Wasp's psyche. Stripped of his rank, cast out by the Autobots he once trusted, and on the run as a fugitive, Wasp became consumed by paranoia and rage. As he wandered his exiled world, evading capture, his growing bitterness towards Bumblebee, whom Wasp believed was responsible for exposing him, became his driving force. In truth, Bumblebee had been manipulated into doubting Wasp, but Wasp couldn't see past his own pain and anger. His transformation into Waspinator came when he was captured by Black Arachnia, herself a tragic figure in Transformers Animated. Seeking to create allies who understood her own grotesque fate as a techno-organic hybrid, Black Arachnia used her experiments to forcibly mutate Wasp. The process turned him into the monstrous Waspinator, blending insectoid features with his robotic frame, and converting his pain and rage that he carried into strength and an ugly reflection. Now fully transformed, Waspinator became a mere echo of his Beast Wars counterpart. He sought revenge against Bumblebee and the Autobots, but his grotesque appearance and fractured mind only further alienated him. In his climactic showdown with Bumblebee, Waspinator's fury was met with pity rather than hostility. Bumblebee probably realized the role he played in Wasp's downfall. For Waspinator, there was no true resolution, only the continuation of his pain and isolation. In Transformers Animated, Waspinator wasn't just comedic relief like his Beast Wars counterpart. His transformation was both physical and emotional, leaving behind a character totally consumed by bitterness and rage. Across these continuities, Waspinator's story continues to show how he's a reflection of pain, rejection, and resilience. Each version of Waspinator built on the character established in Beast Wars, a character who, despite endless failures and rejection, continues to fight, whether for acceptance, vengeance, or simply survival. While his role may shift between comic relief, tragic victim, and reluctant fighter, the essence of Waspinator remains the same, a character defined by their struggle to find meaning and acceptance in a world that offers neither. His journey serves as a reminder that even in the world of Transformers, where titanic battles and epic wars dominate the narrative, the smaller, quieter tragedies often leave the deepest impact. In a world defined by endless war, characters like Waspinator serve as a reminder of the cost of these conflicts. While leaders and heroes of the Transformers universe fight for power and survival, characters like Waspinator are caught in the crossfire, their lives shaped by forces beyond their control. Despite his comedic beginnings, Waspinator's journey is defined by his tragic journey, his constant failures, his desperate need for acceptance, and his inability to find peace all reflect the harsh realities of a universe where war is the only constant. At its core, Waspinator's story is a paradox, a character who is constantly a victim of failure, but who refuses to give up. Even in the face of endless humiliation and pain, he continues to fight, serving a hope that he doesn't truly understand. This resilience makes his story even more tragic, a reminder that even in our darkest moments, our desire for meaning and belonging still exists. In a universe where victory often comes at a great cost, Waspinator serves as a reminder that even the smallest, most overlooked characters can carry the weight of the world on their shoulders. Waspinator's legacy is that of persistence in the face of tragedy. As a character defined by failure, yet driven by an unyielding hope for belonging, his story resonates far beyond the realm of Transformers. He reminds us of the human or Cybertronian need for meaning, the struggle for identity, and the resilience needed to continue in the face of rejection. But his journey also leaves us with haunting questions. Are we the creators of our own struggles? Or, like Waspinator, are we pawns to forces beyond our control? In a universe defined by conflict, can anyone truly find peace? Or are we all stuck in the endless cycle of loss and longing? Waspinator's tale challenges us to confront our own battles, reminding us that even the smallest, most overlooked characters can carry the weight of the cosmos. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay handsome.